Welcome back to Psychotronic Coast to Coast. We watched something I did not expect to like in the least. Was shocked, appalled at my liking this for some reason. It's a really weird fucking movie. Tonight, my compatriot here, who actually forced me to watch this movie, Owen Neal. I'm stumbling over my intro. I'm gonna start that all over again. That's the luxury of doing this live and using the audio to record a podcast. I'm gonna redo this whole fucking intro. Welcome back to another episode. God damn it, I was trying to avoid that. Welcome back to Psychotronic Coast to Coast. Today, Owen and I dove into The Pit from 1981 about a mentally disturbed child, his talking teddy bear, and a pit full of cannibal creatures, essentially. Man-eating creatures. And the weird, dark, twisted path that this film took. So, Owen, how did you come across this flick?
Listening to Matt Farley's podcast.
No, right on.
Called Shock Marathons.
Oh, right. Shock Marathons, right. I am familiar with them.
Yep.
So
they love The Pit. Never seen it, so I figured I'd watch it before listening to their episode.
Well, I'm a fucking fan. Spoiler. Yeah, so just so many things in this movie. So the movie opens with the kid whose name I'm blanking on because I'm terrible at remembering details like that.
Jamie.
Scrolling down. Jamie, yes. Jamie, our disturbed young main character, protagonist, that's the word I'm looking for, who lures a person who has clearly bullied him, as is kind of implied, and lures him into the woods to this hole in the ground and then shoves his bitch ass in to let him get presumably killed in some way, and then jumps to the words, "The Pit." And then that's how the movie opens. And I was like, what the fuck are we about to watch? It just started suddenly. It was really just out of the blue. Suddenly, I'm like, what the fuck did we miss? I felt like we missed something when the movie started.
Yeah, because we were watching on YouTube, and it was just movie started. There was unless for some reason they chopped off the beginning credits or something.
Possible. Well, yeah. I mean, the DVD. The reason I watch this on YouTube is because the DVD is like $50, and it's out of print. It's been out of print for like a decade. And now there's a Blu-ray supposedly coming out soon, hopefully this year, from I believe Scorpion Releasing or Kino Lorber. So that'll be interesting. I'll definitely pick that up now because holy shit, this movie. So why don't you? Do you remember what happens next? Because
we talked a lot during this part, so
it took a while to get going. This movie took a bit.
I remember there was a little girl. He walked up and was checking out her bike, and she was a bitch. And rode off.
She was a real jerk to him. Yeah.
Called him funny, which I guess was a nice way of calling him mentally challenged.
Yeah, I guess. I remember. Nice. Like the caretaker, his current caretaker, and the psychiatrist were talking or whatever about like his problems.
I think it was his parents and the new caretaker.
Okay, so the parents were going away from vacation or whatever.
Yeah, and they were bringing this girl in, and they were kind of warning him that he was a weird kid, and a lot of other people have left.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of imaginary friends. He doesn't get along well with others. He's a loner. Keeps to himself a lot.
She shows up. He immediately falls in love with her. She's hot. Discusses that with his Teddy, who talks to him, which is clearly just his own voice, kind of echoey.
Yeah.
He starts being really creepy, watching her sleep, staring at her breast.
Right on the mirror saying I love you and shit. Like
That was a little bit later, but
yeah,
yes.
he escalates his shit. Like it's super creepy. Like it's something you expect from like that creepy guy you went on a date once, but instead it's this like 15-year-old kid or whatever, 13-year-old kid who's got the hots for this chick. Yeah, it's really creepy. It's unsettling.
He gets all pissed off because there's a football player, which I believe she was dating because she made out with him in a car, but it might have been her brother because later there was just a guy with a mustache that was the boyfriend. So I'm not sure on that part.
Maybe he just kept killing the dudes she was with. So,
but it seemed like
it's a little convoluted there a bit.
I mean, later she was really worried about the football player missing, so I'm gonna assume that was her brother.
Okay.
And that they all went to the football game to watch him or whatever.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
Kid didn't care.
Of course, he's like, what's nothing to do with any of these people.
He it seemed like within a day told her his secret, which is there's a pit with a troll logs in it.
Granted, that was an hour into the movie, so it actually wasn't within a day. It was plenty of time passed. I remember that moment because we were talking about that. Like, you're gonna tell her a secret? I was like, wow, this movie's almost over. Where's this going? You know, like I expected this a lot later in the movie, actually. So the fact that it came at the hour mark, I was a little like, what? Oh shit. Okay.
We're gonna do some other characters. There's the librarian who kind of says the kid's kind of weird. The girl picks on him again with like, hey, you can ride my bike, and then it falls apart. She laughs at it.
She like doesn't attach the front wheel or whatever, or the handlebars, so he goes right off and it collapses and he falls and hurts himself, of course, because you know that shit happens. Pranks are mean.
Yeah, there just seems to be a lot of scenes of her with other people talking about how weird the kid is. Like, that kid's weird.
He's really weird. Like, can you help me? He's fucking weird. Like, I can't help you. Next scene, he does something weird. He's fucking weird. I need help. He just gets worse and worse. I can't help you. Next scene, you're like, what the fuck? And there are so many moments that make you go, what the fuck am I watching? Because it violently whips between really creepy and weird to slapstick humor. And
yeah.
It has no tonal understanding of what it wants to be.
Yeah, the caretaker kind of brushes off the whole idea of a pit with trologs in it or whatever he calls them.
Trollogs, yeah.
Trolologs.
They're trog.
Yeah, he calls them trolls, trolologs, and then they call them whatever she found in the fantasy book, which he dismissed. He's like, yeah. Although there was a scene that it never showed up again where he left and it shows the girl looking in the room, and then when she walks by, the teddy's head moves.
Oh, that was a great scene. That was like one of the better sequences.
But it was never addressed again.
Yeah.
It's not like the teddy started walking around or anything. Just one scene, the head turns. And there is a scene where the teddy has the hots for the librarian, and it's kind of a weird scene because like the whole idea, Teddy's gonna call and claim that her niece has been kidnapped and she has to get naked because the guy's watching. But you have Jamie outside with a Polaroid camera, but clearly he recorded his voice on a tape thing and has it playing in a payphone. And then he snaps pictures of her topless.
So
Teddy.
So dark. It's a dark scene. You're like, what is this fucked up kid is just like manipulating people and just like, what the fuck? And he's like 13 and the main character.
And Teddy loves the pictures. He's gonna look at them all the time, he said. It's like, what?
The fuck, Teddy? Teddy, you're a fucked up, twisted bear. Knock it off. Yeah. So the caretaker he keeps talking about this pit and she keeps brushing it off as his imagination. Says, I don't know, they probably eat candy bars. So he throws a bunch of candy bars down there. Apparently they didn't like them. So he goes to the library, gets a book, doesn't even read it. He flips it open and looks through like the type of animals. He's like, herbivore, there's a carnivore. He's like, yes, that's must be what they be. They don't like candy, so they must be carnivores. What? No.
And he buys some meat, chucks it in the pit. They love it. So then he starts stealing money from the caregiver to buy meat, chuck it in the pit. There's that really awkward scene where she tries to confront him and he just runs away and then picks her flowers. Which then apparently she just drops it. She's like, yeah, whatever. Somewhere in there is when he goes in, when she's in the shower, which we mentioned that the shower curtain was partly open so you could see her naked.
Yeah, it's like no one showers with the shower curtain open. No one. That's how you get water on the floor.
And he writes, I love you on the mirror. You hear her scream. She comes busting in the room in a towel. It's like, stop this crap right now. And then he's like, would you give me a picture when you leave so I can look at you?
What the fuck? I kept going, what the fuck is wrong with this kid? It was, Jesus, man, this movie.
So obviously the money's run dry. He doesn't want to steal money from her anymore. So Teddy has a suggestion of feeding them bad people.
Yes.
And now we get the best montage ever with this ridiculous happy music.
The opening sequence happens now. Like we're starting to add a sequence. So he gets the one guy in there, and then he steals the girl's bike or whatever and lures her into the pit.
That's great. Bike. But he's on the other side of the pit with the bike, and she just walks into this giant hole like, oh, I'm going to come get my bike.
Oh, yeah. And then this old lady, he like basically just wheels her into the pit, just levers her in. I fucking laughed out loud at that moment. That was brilliant.
I think she's like in a wheelchair and blind, but I think earlier she talked shit about him. That's a terrible, weird kid.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I really hope he just starts like, because after he put the girl in the hole, he rides off with the bike. I'm really gonna ride off of the bike of the missing girl. But then I was like, please tell me he's gonna be in the wheelchair. And of course, he's like motoring out of there, like wee,
yeah,
in the wheelchair. Kills the football guy, whoever he is, boyfriend, brother.
By throwing a football and having him go long for it, and he runs right into the pit like a dummy because no one can apparently see the pit in the ground.
And of course, he comes out with the football, tossing it. Like he's keeping everything from each one of these murders.
Fucked up.
I think then he kills the kid on like Halloween night, pushes him in the pit. By telling him there's robber left gems there.
Oh right. That's how you let him away.
He starts scaring the girl because there was a girl with him that was, I assume, dating the jock guy or whatever, the bully. When he got punched in the face, she laughed. She ends up fainting, and then he's like talking creepy to her, like, pretty girl, and then removes her tutu, and then just rolls her unconscious body into the pit. And I'm like, so why does he need the tutu?
Because he's keeping it as a trophy.
Now you're back with
serial killer, so he's got trophies, man.
I guess. You know, there's an incompetent cop being like, you know, people are missing. He's like, whatever. Pretty much. He's like, we need to call in reinforcements. He's like, no, I'll be a laughing stock of all the police officers. They're not dead. They're just, missing. It's like solid police work.
It's fucking amazing police work right there.
So we're back at the house, and she asked if the guy came to play football, and he's like, nope. Like,
no.
He's missing. He's like, he's got this shit-eating grin. He's like, so.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you know anything about this? And he's just like being all smirky, and then caregiver fucking smacks him.
Yeah. Totally deserves that shit, too.
And then he just starts spouting off. He's like, this person's also missing, and this person's missing, and this person's missing. And she's not like, she's kind of freaked out, but then she's like, I need to show you the pit. And she's like, all right, if you stop with this love nonsense. So she just completely drops the fact that he's just missing all these people that were missing with a guilty grin on his face. And they head off to the pit. She looks in, sees them, thinks it's amazing, wants to bring on all these scientists, and he's like, no, it's our secret. And then she just fucking falls in on her own. She just walks in.
She can't see it, remember? No one can see it but him, apparently.
And she's kind of hanging there, and he's trying to pull her up, but she falls in. They rip her apart. He runs home. He's very
That's
upset.
the one we actually see, right? That's the one with the giant, the rubber monsters and shit in the pit.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, that was a cool one because you can see it's actually like rubber monsters that are these drugs and shit. Pretty rad.
he runs home, cries to Teddy. Teddy's like, "It's not your fault. She fell in."
I mean, those monsters were awful looking, but that was rad because it looked. I got to see crazy, dumb looking monsters. It was kind of fun.
So the parents come home. You know, the cops talking to him and like, "Whoa!" And he lies. He's like, "Oh, he got into a car with her boyfriend with the mustache. It was either yellow or green, and they drove away." And the cop's like, "All right, that's all I need." And he goes upstairs. Boom, her ghost or his imagination. But she was all bloody and gore, and he was like, "You shouldn't lie, Jamie." Just out of nowhere, and he's like, "Oh shit!"
Oh, son of a bitch, ghosts are real. Fuck.
And I forget exactly. I think he goes back to the pit at this point, and decides, "I can't feed you anymore. You know, you killed a good person." Throws a rope in there to let you know, you guys have to take care of yourself. And then her ghost shows up again. He's like, "You shouldn't have done that." And he just runs off, and they immediately start climbing out.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
And for like the next 20 minutes, we don't even really see Jamie again. It's just shots of cops looking at corpses and the trolls grabbing the troglodytes, grabbing people, killing them. And the cops end up following them back to the hole, which was a great scene. They looked like they had little people in the suits. Like they weren't that big.
So. Or kids,
And they were jumping over these trees and like baseball sliding and swinging on the rope back into the hole.
Nice.
It was like all this acrobatic almost type
pretty
shit.
Awesome.
And then they had like a posse of people with guns. They show up looking, and they don't even hide in the hole. They just kind of look up like, "What?" And the cops just unload on them, just smoke all of them, bury the pit. Yep. And then it cuts to randomly Jamie, who's apparently been shipped off to his grandparents because obviously the parents don't give a shit about this kid.
Yeah, they're absentee parents. It's the reason why he's a terrible person because he doesn't have any structure or parental value in his life. Yeah.
And that he's just fucking crazy.
Oh, and this ending is great. So he meets the girl that lives there. They're talking. Yep. She shows him this pit in the back and out in the woods. And he goes, "Hey, those are trogs. You know, they only eat meat." "I know." And then, he gets pushed into the pit. Oh, no.
Freeze frame and credits.
Yeah, classic.
And that was like his own cousin.
Yeah.
Part cousin.
Fucking murdered the shit out of him. 30 seconds after meeting him, like, I'm gonna murk you. That's what's gonna happen. This was a great movie. I did not expect to like this so much. It's really fucked up. It's really sleazy. It's really twisted. It's very dark. It's worth watching at least once.
Not that it really matters, but he did frame the boyfriend. He put the tutu in the pictures of the librarian in his car.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
For some reason. But of course he gets off because he didn't do it.
There's a cat right there. I didn't notice. But I saw a black spot splashing my camera. I was like, what the fuck? Oh, it's a cat. All right.
But
this movie, it's full of terrible acting.
Really bad acting.
Really bad writing. But it's all quite hilarious when it clicks, it clicks, and when it doesn't click, it's hilarious. And there's slapstick comedy that's so bad it's hilarious. It's just
the kids were extra terrible.
Extra terrible. Oh my god. The movie is bad, but all in the right ways. I give this movie a 3 out of 5 stars.
It's a solid 3.
Yeah. Buying this Blu-ray when it comes out. This needs to go to my collection.
I need to see it where it's not made out of little tiny fucking squares. At some one point it went really bad pixelated, like in the middle.
2 times it got really, really bad. Smear-o-vision the whole time, though. But yeah, I'd love to see that in actual quality. I bet you it doesn't hold up. I bet you will hate it when you can see everything like, oh, this is terrible. What are we talking about? Out of 7, that's 6 out of 10. Trash fingers, in case you're curious. Out of 7, that's 5 out of 7. Perfect. Just in case you're curious. 3 out of 5, what is that out of 7? 5 out of 7. Perfect. All right, so yeah, let's hear what we got. The original screenplay apparently differed greatly from the final draft. According to the screenwriter Ian Stewart, besides being a much darker, more serious movie, the Trogs were supposed to be entirely in the mind of Jamie. The changes were supposedly made by the director.
So what? He just puts people in a pit and then they don't die?
No, it's like he murders them, but he's imagining that the Trogs are doing it. Yeah. So the original Trog costumes were deemed not realistic enough, so the new costumes were created in Los Angeles, and interior pit scenes were shot on a soundstage in Toronto. And apparently there's a novelization called Teddy that's really dark, based off the screenplay, not off the movie. So, kind of cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, if I found Teddy, I'd probably buy the shit out of that.
I like the monsters, but at the same time, the idea that they're not real is pretty good.
Yeah, because they don't look real at all, so I think it kind of works out. Like, kind of lends credence to that. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Surprisingly so, in fact. So, yeah. Do you have anything else to add?
No, if you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Absolutely.
Even pixelated YouTube version.
Let's see here.
Which has all the nudity.
Yeah, it does. There are boobs on YouTube after all. So, well, it was a good movie. Check it out. Worth watching at least once. I hope it does get that Blu-ray because it deserves it. And
you think the kid's still around? They may have tracked him down. The commentary.
I doubt it. I doubt anyone would ask to do anything with this movie. The movie's not going to sell many units. You know, a couple hundred titles probably.
Come on, you got to go all the way though. Get all the kids as adults now that do commentary.
So, what movie are we pairing this with? We were going to pair this with a specific movie because it's got a reference to this movie.
I don't know, I thought about pairing it with River Beast.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Since I learned about it from them.
Oh, there you go. All right, so next week for the next chapter in the Best of the Bad series, we're going to watch Samurai Cop. I think I said Ninja Buzzers last time, but I want to do Samurai Cop because I like changing my fucking shit up. And because the live streams aren't attached to the podcast, I can keep changing things. So, Samurai Cop. You got this, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Can't wait to watch this again. Movie makes me laugh every fucking time. The deadly code of silence sweeps through Los Angeles as gang violence erupts, taking no prisoners and leaving no witnesses alive. The police find themselves outgunned and thwarted by Fujiyama's infamous Katana gang. Only one man has the training, expertise, and swordsmanship needed to break this code. His name is Joe Marshall, played by Matt Hannon. They call him Samurai. He speaks fluent Japanese. He was trained by the masters, that's in quotes, by the way, in Japan. Joe must strike a balance between his insatiable appetite for women and his quest to stop the gang of violence. Endless obstacles abound. A horny nurse, a sex-crazed policewoman, legendary henchmen, played by Robert Zadar and Joe Akamura, and countless petty thugs. Hilarity ensues, but not how you might expect, and this was mastered so bad it's good. Epic cult classic. This is one of my favorite bad movies, so that will be fun. All right, so thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.